Yesterday, we got to the heart of the Eighth Commandment, do not steal. And I talked about the fact that I hope that if stealing, shoplifting, that kind of thing is your issue, I hope that you're finding grace, that you're finding community to help you face that. Whatever your issues are, we all have issues, I hope you're finding grace, hope, and love in the face of it. Today, I want to talk to those of you who think that you're not violating this commandment. And I want to sort of turn up the heat. Yesterday, I was trying to offer grace. Today, I want to get your attention and say that you need grace. So, the Heidelberg Catechism is one of the church's documents. It's not part of the Bible, but it's one of the documents developed, in this case, in the 16th century, to help people understand the doctrine that we find in Scripture. And these catechisms often unfold through a series of questions and answers. So the Heidelberg Catechism very helpfully asks this question: what does God forbid in the Eighth Commandment? And then, perhaps surprisingly, it answers the question. God forbids not only outright theft and robbery, okay, but also such wicked schemes and devices as false weights and measures, deceptive merchandising, counterfeit money, and usury, high interest rates. So the point here is that there are some perhaps subtle white-collar ways of violating the Eighth Commandment. They include not doing our best work, stealing from our employer, or not paying a fair wage and stealing from our employees. It involves not paying our taxes or debts. It involves padding an expense account. In his book on ethics, Lewis Smedes suggests that deceptive advertising, leading people, manipulating people to buy products that they don't need or that might actually be harmful to them, would be a way of stealing from them. Corporations bribing officials to get a bid that is not the cheapest bid would be stealing from them. Rich nations often exploit the resources of poor nations, stealing from them. And then, if that's not enough, the Catechism goes on, says, we must not defraud our neighbors in any way, whether by force or by show of might. In addition, God forbids all greed and all abuse or squandering of his gifts. So, please hear this. This is not just stealing from somebody. It's failing to be generous with the gifts and abilities and the times and talents that God has given to us. Gifts and abilities that we are expected to use to the benefit of other people. So the answer goes on: I must promote my neighbor's good whenever I can and may deal with him as I would like others to deal with me, and work faithfully so that I may be able to give those to those in need. So this changes everything. I hope you see that. It suggests that we not only break the Eighth Commandment when we are, shoplifting. It suggests that we are breaking the Eighth Commandment when we are not being radically generous with the stuff entrusted to us. So we are guilty of breaking the Eighth Commandment when we are not being very open-handed with the stuff that has come into our possession. I want to say, your generosity should impact your lifestyle. This is a C.S. Lewis point. Somebody asked him a question: how much money am I expected to give away? And he says, well, I don't really know, but I know this, that it ought to make a difference in the way you live. If it doesn't crimp your lifestyle in some way, if it doesn't get your attention in some way, he goes, then it's not enough. And I would add to that this really ought to not feel like, I think when we're in the right frame of mind, this really ought to not feel like a hardship. Okay, I can't put all the bells and whistles I want on the car that I'm buying. I don't get to have all the latest gadgets and gizmos because I've given money away that prevents me from doing that. we ought to do that with joy. Like we ought to say, yes, I drive this car instead of that car because I'm able to give to this person. I'm able to help these people, and this is more necessary, better, a higher use of the resources entrusted to me than just having every little thing I could imagine. It doesn't feel like a hardship because God's grace and abundance have been poured out in my own life. So there's a lot to the Eighth Commandment, much for us to think about. Be generous today and have a good day.